Hey guys, and welcome to my part 1 for my Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay project. In this video, we're going to be covering on how I made the two first props that I'm making for my character, the Arasaka Katana and the Thermal Blade. The reason why I choose to make these two props, one, I love swords, you guys should know that by now, but my character is more of a street samurai, a street kid. So for the people that know Cyberpunk 2077 and played it, so if you choose to be a street kid, you already know your character's gonna have katanas, the thermal blade, or choose the weapons. My character is a little bit of a mix of both, from my own design. So basically, I chose to give him two swords. He can basically use both swords in tandem, or just use the single one with more power. So yeah, right now I'm basically building the Arasaka Katana and the Thermal Blade from Cyberpunk 2077. So enjoy the time lapse. Alright guys, and welcome to part 1 for my Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay project. On this part, we're going to be covering actually two props that I made. The Arasaka Katana that you get in the game, and also the Thermal Katana, which basically if you upgrade the sword all the way up, you basically get the Thermal Blade. So the reason why, instead of making two videos for this basically almost the same prop and same weapon, I want to basically tune one and just show you guys the step that I took to create it. So for this for the weapons I'm going to be using, I didn't go in detail last video when I made this Stygian Blade from Hades. The materials that I'm going to be using is insulation foam, especially foam board. I've used this material many years ago. I want to say when I was in high school. Actually, I was using this material when I was in high school. Granted, I did not know how to work with this material. The material was very hard to work with for me. It was honestly very messy. I did not know what I was doing. And now, many years later, I started tackling with this material all over again. And I decided to look up into tutorials, how to work with that, how to work with the material itself, how to make it work better for yourself. And quite frankly, I'm happy that I'm working with this material again, because this material alone, it is so forgiving, but also not forgiving at the same time. So let's say you make a mistake, you're obviously gonna have to rip off that part or just do everything all over again. So I have to be very careful, honestly, with what I'm doing. So right now, you guys can see I'm basically tracing all the patterns into the insulation foam. If you guys want to get the patterns yourself, I'm gonna be having a link down below in the description. I have a couple Cyberpunk patterns up in the store. If you guys have any other suggestions and what other Cyberpunk patterns should be added, just let me know, guys. I'll add them. I'll try to add them as much as I can. Alright guys, and here is another tip on how to cut insulation foam board. As you guys already know, when you guys use X-Acto blades, knife, or tactical blades, or even anything to cut remotely foam, it's gonna dull down your blade. This has the same property, but this is gonna dull your blade a lot quicker, in all honesty. A lot of people use saws, band saws, retractable blades. Granted, I don't have those tools with me just yet. I am in the process of getting those tools for my shed, but I use a lot of X-Acto blades, retractable blades, and retractable knives as well. Granted, for the bigger pieces, when it comes to insulation foam board, I use a lot of retractable blades, and then I go back for the little details of my retractable knife and the X-Acto blades. I know a lot of people use sharpening blades or sharpening stones. Granted, I used a sharpening stone beforehand, but it just really didn't work for me. And I didn't want to be wasting my time going back and forth, trying to make it sharp when I honestly can just switch out the blade. Yes, it's gonna be more expensive in the long run, but honestly, it's gonna save me a headache when it comes to trying to make the blades sharp again. So yes, I spend a lot more money. Not even that much, honestly, because I know how to use the blades properly, so I don't dull them down as quick as I used to do back then. But I basically, when I'm done with a blade, I just rip it in half and just make it work all over again, or just put a fresh new blade in. So that's basically a little tidbit. It is a little tip. As you guys can see right now, I'm basically cutting out the thermal blade from Cyberpunk, one of the glowing katanas, and I'm gonna be going back later in detail explaining what idea I had to make this sword glow, or just make it glow at least when the light is shining on top of it. So I'll see you guys real quick. Alright guys, and here I am marking the place where I'm going to be putting the wooden dowel for. Granted, if you guys want to make a sword, a staff, or anything that needs a strong base or a strong core, wooden dowels and PVC pipe will work just the same way. I seen Odin Makes, SKS Props, a lot of other cosplayers that I follow and subscribe to, and they inspire me to do this every day. They use a lot of PVC handles, PVC pipes, wooden dowels, and they even use cardboard tubes as well to build up the base. But if you guys are going to be building a sword or a staff or anything that needs a really strong core, I suggest just using a PVC pipe or a wooden dowel as first. As you guys see me here, I basically I make a groove on the foam and basically make a valley. So basically what I'm doing is I'm cutting a line straight in the middle, and then I come back and I cut the lines on both sides, and it gives me an edge and makes the foam deep. So I can actually glue down the wooden dowel or the PVC pipe, fill it up with hot glue, fill it up with Gorilla Glue, fill it up with super glue, and it just stays still. Granted, I do have to wait a little bit because with the downsides of insulation foam board is it can easily melt. So if you guys gonna be spray painting this directly, it's gonna melt easily down. I'm gonna be talking more about that when it comes down to me painting and sealing these props. But this is basically what I'm doing right now. I'm basically marking what a wooden dowel is gonna be. I'm basically cutting a groove into it so I can glue the wooden dowel down and can give me a strong base on it. so right now what I'm doing, I'm basically marking the center line of where the blade will be, and I'm just shaving away at the excess material so I can have basically a blade edge, so I can have a sharp edge on the foam. You guys gonna see me doing this a lot. Actually, I did this a lot in the stadium blade build, so it gave me a nice sharp edge. So basically what I'm doing is I'm cutting away the excess material so I can have a nice groove over, so I can have a nice bevel edge on both the blade sides, the blade sides and the handle sides. And also right now what you guys gonna see, this is basically my attempt on making the sword glow to some extent. Making it glow and making it just basically making it glow without needing LED lights. So my first idea is I actually have a lot of LED lights. Trust me, I have a lot of LED lights that I need to get rid of. And basically I was looking at my job to see what can I have that something is gonna be a reflective material, because we do sell acrylic plastic at my job, but it's just so expensive and I really don't have the. It's not that I don't have the money, I just don't have the necessary tools to be cutting the plastic. So basically here I am testing out the reflective material that I found in my job with the LED lights, just testing it. So basically this reflective material is just basically construction stuff. This is basically what you guys see, like the perfect example that I can explain of what material is. This is, you know, when you guys come up to a stop sign and the light hits it and it just goes really bright. That's basically what this material is. It's just basically like a sticker material. You put it on and it's very reflective. Honestly, I think this is a better idea that I had when it comes to the type of sword that this is. So what I basically did is I cut the material in half, and then later on I glued it onto the blade itself. The material is basically, like I said, it's just a reflective sticker. And then later on I went over it with super glue and hot glue gun, and I just sealed it as much as I could. So right now you guys are gonna basically see me go over it with the reflective tape and just basically glue onto the sword, and that part is gonna be reflective as it is. Later on I'm gonna be going back and try to make it more reflective than what it really is, and just make it shine really well, even in the dark and even during the daylight. So right now you guys basically gonna see me, I'm super gluing everything down, and then later on you guys are gonna basically see me do a lot more beveling, a lot more cutting, and putting the details onto the blade itself. Alright guys, and here is the second katana that I'm building for my Cyberpunk character. Granted, I'm not going to be talking as much because this part of the video is very self-explanatory. So if you guys saw me build the thermal blade in the first half of this video, me going into the Arasaka katana is basically the same thing all over again. I just basically did some adjustments to the katana build from the patterns that I made. I just made it shorter than what it really is. This is basically just my idea, me taking the artist liberty that I have of modifying my own patterns and just making it look as close as I can to the game, or just basically my own personal take on it. So you guys are gonna be enjoying the rest of I want to say that like 10 minutes left or so of the video of me building the katana. I'll be going here and there describing everything that I did, just in case, but it's not gonna be that much talking from me now on. So enjoy the video, enjoy the music that I chose for this project. I'm really pumped for this project. I'm really excited. It took me quite a while to find the appropriate music for this cosplay project, but I think I did really well. I'm happy with the music that I chose. If you guys are interested in who did this music, the link is going to be down below in the description. They're called Aim to Head on YouTube. They're amazing. I listen to them on my off time when I'm doing my Cyberpunk builds. And it just basically gets me in the mood. It feels like I'm in Night City when I'm building all this stuff. So enough of me nerding out. Enjoy the rest of the video of me putting the Arasaka Katana together.